It's genuinely quite stressful. This is hilarious. Got an Oscar.
Good morning, Britain, live from Hollywood. Crowning glory for Olivia Colman as she's named Best Actress for The Favourite, celebrating with an emotional, funny speech which broke all the rules.
A triumph for diversity as Green Book, Black Panther and Black Klansman all win big. But another disappointing night for Glenn Close, who walked away empty-handed for the 7th time.
The kiss and the near miss. Rami Malek celebrates with a public display of affection with co-star Lucy Boynton, but it was Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga's very intimate performance which has caught everyone's attention.
We've got all the winners, the losers, all the surprises, the excitement, the gossip, the parties as Hollywood celebrates its biggest night. We're live here in Los Angeles with a star-studded panel of experts and A-list guests.
It was an award-winning weekend of weather in the UK. We are warmer than LA, and it could well be the warmest February day ever recorded. All the details of that and more coming up on Good Morning Britain.
Monday, 25th of February, 2019. Live from Hollywood. This is Good Morning Britain with Piers Morgan and Susanna Reid.
Well, good morning, Britain. Here we are in Hollywood at the Beverly Hills Hotel, one of the great hotels of the city. And the Oscars have just finished. They're talking about it as being one of the most exciting and interesting Oscars for many a year.
And where do Oscar winners go after the Oscars?
Well, here, obviously.
Yep, and to the Vanity Fair party, clutching their gold statuettes. And Ross King is on that red carpet to stop them in their tracks, Ross. And here we have Hollywood gossip columnist Perez Hilton.
Perez Hilton, best blogger in Hollywood. We've got Vinnie Jones, he's made 100 movies. We've got Mel B from the Spice Girls. And we've got loads of guests like Jane Seymour and Tatum O'Neal, Elliot Gould, all sorts of Hollywood A-listers coming in. It's going to be an incredibly exciting 2.5 hours. Very different to our normal Monday morning. To the British viewers back home, I can report it's not that hot here, so you're not going to feel too jealous. Weather's been a little bit on the chilly side, but what was really hot was the Oscars this year, which has turned out to be brilliant for Britain because Olivia Colman, against all the odds,
Is the Queen of Hollywood.
Is the Queen of Hollywood, having played a Queen.
Ross has the story of the night. Here we go.
No host, but Queen's performance opened the 91st Oscar ceremony and got the audience rocking. We will rock you. 3 of Hollywood's funniest women kicked off the evening, combining comedy with satire.
We are not your hosts, but we're going to stand here a little too long so that the people who get USA Today tomorrow will think that we hosted.
The Queen's story, Bohemian Rhapsody, won 4 of its 5 categories, rewarding British talent in sound editing and mixing, and Best Actor for Rami Malek.
Listen, we made a film about a gay man, an immigrant who lived his life just unapologetically himself.
But The Favourite failed to live up to its promise, winning only 1 of its 10 nominations. Olivia Colman saved the day, though, triumphing as Best Actress with an entertaining and emotional acceptance speech.
I used to work as a cleaner and I loved that job. I did spend quite a lot of my time imagining this. Oh, please wrap up. Right, okay. And,
But it was not to be for Richard E. Grant, who missed out on Best Supporting Actor to Mahershala Ali for Green Book. Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper gave an electrifying performance of Shallow from A Star Is Born, the song winning the Oscar, and a tearful Lady Gaga sending a message about not giving up.
it's not about winning, but what it's about is not giving up. If you have a dream, fight for it.
Alfonso Cuaron.
Another big winner of the night was Mexican director Alfonso Cuaron. His acclaimed film Roma picked up 3 awards, including his second as Best Director.
Thank you so much. Being here doesn't get old.
And there was a huge cheer for Spike Lee, who won his first Oscar for Black Klansman.
The 2020 presidential election is around the corner. Let's all mobilize.
Green Book.
The big surprise of the night was Best Film for Green Book. Melissa McCarthy and Brian Tyree Henry donning understated outfits to present a costume award for Black Panther, one of 3 Oscars for the film. No controversy and no host, but award presenters made every effort to make it a memorable Oscars. Ross King, Good Morning Britain, Los Angeles.
Oh, we're inside now.
First reports on your dress, stunning. Oh, wow. Susanna looks stunning in that gold dress. She does look stunning.
Is Steve watching this morning?
Probably. We are here. This is the Beverly Hills Hotel. So it's one of the grand, great old hotels in Hollywood, just down the road from where the Oscars has just finished. And we have got probably the greatest panel amassed in the history of Oscars punditry.
Yeah.
Mel B, Spice Girl.
Dressed as an Oscar.
Vinnie Jones, Spicy Boy. And Perez Hilton, the most famous,
looking pretty
notorious,
spicy,
glamorous blogger in Hollywood. And they're all here. We're going to have a lot of fun today. We're going to talk about all the awards, all the gossip, all the moments, which will be the water cooler stuff tomorrow. I think mainly Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper, who, well, what was going on there?
You see, he sat down, didn't he, next to her, which already felt intimate. And then she did that thing where she sort of turned her head.
I mean, she looked at him like you look at me.
In your dreams. In your dreams is the end of that sentence.
But it's been a lot of fun. The Oscars was great, I thought. It's been a little bit boring, I think, for the last few years. Tonight, I thought was very exciting. Olivia Colman, big shock, beating Glenn Close to Best Actress. I thought the other big moment was obviously Lady Gaga. I thought from all the way through the whole event, the red carpet, Lady Gaga wore this incredible $50 million diamond.
The Audrey Hepburn.
Which Audrey Hepburn had worn, the Tiffany one.
Yeah.
I thought her performance for Bradley Cooper was the performance of the night. I thought her speech was one of the best speeches of the night. So big night for Lady Gaga. Big night for Britain, Olivia Colman. What else can we talk about?
Well, do you remember back in 2015 and 2016, there was the Oscars So White hashtag, because for 2 years running, there were only white actors nominated in the acting categories and supporting acting categories. And this year, it felt like it was completely different.
Yeah.
You know, they fixed it, it felt like, on
And fixed
diversity.
it on merit. I mean, this is what's changed. I think a lot has changed in Hollywood. You feel like it's changed. Let's go to our panel. Good evening to our panel. Good morning to
Finally,
second morning to Britain.
we can talk.
Good morning to Britain.
Not guilty, Your Honour. I'm in cold here. Star witness. Send him down.
We've amassed you because you are the finest brains in, obviously, Hollywood punditry history.
That's you out,
That's
Mel.
me, that's totally me.
What did you make of tonight? What did you make of the awards?
I found it kind of fascinating, from the fashion aspect to Spike Lee's speech to Glenn Close actually looking like an Oscar. I found it very intriguing, the whole entire process. And I've got my notes, which I will share with you in a second.
Dave's gone.
But I do think the Brits, we did very good. Very, very, very good this year.
Can we just before the Oscars ceremony started, there was a standout moment on the red carpet, and it was a musicals actor, Billy Porter, wearing a dress.
Which I loved.
Christian
the
Siriano.
black velvet poncho that he then took off.
Right, when you say you loved it, he looked,
I did love it.
He looked absolutely ridiculous.
No, I didn't.
He did.
We did not. In this day and age, men and women can wear anything.
Well, the viewers are looking at it now. Right,
I would say I didn't wear it myself.
Exactly. It was a statement, a big statement.
What's the statement? Other than I can't.
Is just another way of being inclusive. Who says that only women could wear women's clothes, or what does that even mean, women's
You should try it,
clothes?
Piers.
Well, it's funny you should say that, because plenty of the women wore tuxes.
Yes,
and
they
nobody
did.
ever bats an eyelid at women wearing tuxes, so why should we complain
Vinny, where's your
when a man
dress
wears a
tonight?
dress?
Hanging up next to yours. Room 234.
Vinny, one of your friends was one of the standout moments of the night. That's Bradley Cooper, because you were in a film with him a couple of years ago, weren't you? Now, he wasn't really, I mean, apart from that moment, you know, at the piano with Lady Gaga, he was snubbed in terms of a Best Director nomination, wasn't he?
I think it's too early to be to get the director for his career. I think he's done so much, and he's got awarded for doing so much in such a short space of time. But you know, the movie I did with him was the one before The Hangover.
Had a brilliant name.
So, a little bit like Piers following me around the golf course. You know, the Lord Mayor's show.
Do you know what I thought about Bradley Cooper today? He'd said this before the event, that he was going to be nervous about singing live. I mean, to sing live at the Oscars, even if you're Lady Gaga is one of the best singers we've ever seen, right? She was nervous, but for Bradley Cooper, he's not really known as a singer.
I thought he'd done unbelievable. You asked me when I came in, what did I think of the Oscars, and I just said, you know, Bradley singing that song, because his heart must have been going some awful rate, mustn't it?
Mel, what's it like when you sing at these big events? For a singer, what is it like?
I love it. I absolutely love it. It's the whole thrill of it. And it's live, so anything can happen. As long as you've prepared well and your voice is in check.
Your notes and your lines.
I've got my notes, exactly.
What did you make of Bradley? What did you make of Bradley's performance as a singer?
I thought Lady Gaga smashed it out of the ballpark.
Yeah, but what did you make of Bradley?
Lady Gaga's vocals were impeccable.
So his work?
I mean, she's a singer. He's not.
It was totally in his range, though, wasn't it?
Yes.
That song is totally in Bradley's.
It made me very happy that he chose to be a part of it, because we saw Emily Blunt was in Mary Poppins. That song was nominated, and she said beforehand that she'd be too nervous, so instead Bette Midler performed. I would have preferred if Emily had done it.
It was an amazing moment, and also we all, when we watched the end, where they come together.
See, I felt so uncomfortable for Bradley's girlfriend.
Right.
Really, Mama.
I know.
Oh my gosh.
Because it was the look of love, wasn't it?
Oh, it really was.
It
And
might have
that's
been a
the whole
double take.
gossip. That's
Might have
the
been
whole thing.
Yeah.
The model or the singer?
Because you
Stop
spotted that
it.
Lady Gaga had taken her engagement ring off. She just broke off from her fiancé. And if you put the maths together, you have her taking the engagement ring off and then staring at Bradley Cooper in a way that I would say crosses a few lines.
But I would like to think that that was just part of the
Performance. It's all part
of the song, because
performance.
there's a woman's code, and hopefully
staring
that's
at
not.
Piers.
Well, there were
Piers.
reports from earlier in the weekend that Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper were together at a party, just the two of them, not with any of their respective others. She's single now, but...
Hopefully it was only professional.
Listen, when I done a movie with him, me and him went out a couple of times, but he never took his engagement ring off. Don't try and stir the pot.
Perez, can I ask you about the winners? I mean, a brilliant night for Olivia Colman, and actually Glenn Close, as Mel says, had come dressed as an Oscar, which now looks like
now
an
the
Oscar.
Susan Luge. Oh, you probably don't get that reference. She's an American actress, was nominated for a ton of soap opera awards, never won. But
Glenn's been nominated 7
I
times
know.
and never
Amy
won.
Adams also has been nominated a ton, and she hasn't won either.
But we are so pleased about Olivia Colman.
Yes.
Olivia Colman made, I thought, one of the best speeches.
The best speeches.
That
It
I've
was
heard
so
in
real.
many, many years
So
at the
real.
Oscars, because it was real, it was funny. She said, "This is hilarious."
Yeah. And then she went like this.
Yeah, because they were trying to wind her up. And she's like, "I'm not winding up," and blew a raspberry. Everything about it was authentic, wasn't it?
And
let's have a little listen to Olivia Colman when she won.
Ooh, it's genuinely quite stressful. It's, this is hilarious. Got an Oscar. To be in this category with these extraordinary women, and Glenn Close, you've been my idol for so long, and this is not how I wanted it to be, and I think you're amazing. I love you very much. I love you all. Thank you, and my mum and my dad. Well, you know, and my kids who are at home and watching. Look, well, if you're not, then well, kind of well done. But I sort of hope you are. This is not going to happen again. And any little girl who's practicing their speech on the telly, you never know. And when I used to work as a cleaner, and I loved that job. I did spend quite a lot of my time imagining this. Oh, please wrap up. Right, okay. And thank you. And my husband, Ed, my best friend. I love you so much. 25 years, you've been my best supporter, and he's gonna cry. I'm not Lady Gaga. I'm Melissa.
You see, I absolutely love that. That was so authentic. It was so real.
British honesty, that was, Piers.
It really was,
At
wasn't
its
it?
best, yeah.
Classic British. What do you think, Mel?
I mean, I love her. And she always is very kind of a bit awkward, and I love awkward, by the way. And she's very honest, and, you know, she sees whatever she thinks, she just says. And I like that about her. But I have to talk about, she was wearing Prada, very beautiful green gown. But what was that thing around it? I think this Oscars this year has got a thing with capes. Everyone's wearing capes. I don't get it. I don't understand
She said she didn't think she was going to win, so I don't think she got dressed up for the occasion.
No, she was dressed up. It's Prada.
Not to win, though.
But when they say they don't think they're going to win, when they say they don't think they're going to win, they've all been preparing their speeches, right? But what amazes me about tonight, the number of bad speeches from people.
Oh, the cheese.
One job.
Hers was the best one.
Yeah, but you're in
a land of script writers.
Yeah, script writers and everything else. To be honest, the best in the world.
Well, the
and
actors are
mostly
prepared for it, but everybody else is not a professional person in front of an audience.
The presenters are terrible. The stuff they have to read is...
Oh, Paris, because of course this year there was no main host.
No.
But do you think,
which I liked.
Do you think we missed out on not having a main host?
No.
I think we did.
It saved us close to 30 minutes of shtick. I did a little poll on Twitter before we came on, and over 80% of my responders agreed with me that it was better without a host.
I missed the host.
I did.
But I think the problem has been they've not been very good. Well, Jimmy Kimmel I thought was good before in recent years, but other than that, what's happened to the old days? Bob Hope did about 18 of these. Billy Crystal did 7 or 8. There used to be these great Hollywood legendary names who could carry an Academy Awards properly and did it year after year, and he got used to them. They became part of the scene. Now, it just seems like almost no one can do the job. Because the first thing happens is the Twitter feed gets checked, they get bombed out. It's like...
But it is a very important job. They are the glue that holds the show together. And people tune in not only to see what happens in the show, but to see the host too.
But it was glued very well together this evening without a host.
Last year was the lowest ever viewing figures for the Oscars ceremony, and sometimes that's because the films which are nominated are not actually that popular.
It was a bit damp last year.
Yeah, and I wondered whether, because Roma had so many nominations, but I doubt that most people watching this show watched Roma, whether that might also have an effect. But in fact, Roma ended up not winning the best
No, but it won
picture.
a lot of awards.
Yeah.
ABC, who broadcast the show here in America, was also concerned about ratings, and for the first time ever here in America, they reached out to their long-standing advertisers and gave them a promise, which, if the show didn't go above a certain threshold, they would make good and give them ads down the line.
Well, compensate them for lack of viewers.
Yeah.
Hold on a minute, can we just... I can't... what is with the beard? Just tell us, just briefly, please.
Well, I was on the show. I was on Good Morning Britain on Friday, and I got a lot of people tweeting that I looked homeless. So I figured if I put some glitter on my beard, I would look like a fancy homeless person.
I mean, I'm all about glitter. I'm glad that you cleared that up. Good. Carry on, Piers.
Well, I'm saying to all the viewers who are tuning in, we are here in Hollywood. We'll be doing a lot on the Oscars today. We'll also, of course, going to be talking about stuff back in Britain, which is still, unfortunately, ever raging. I'm going to mention the B word.
Has the Prime Minister still not fixed Brexit yet? Brexit has not been fixed. We'll be talking to one of the cabinet later on, aren't we? Damien Hines. We're going to be talking to our political pundits as normal, Kevin Maguire and George Pascoe Watson today, because Andrew Piers is sunning himself in south of France. But Brexit rages. But we thought we'd give you a little break for most of the show today. Just be here in Hollywood. We were standing there doing our opening shot earlier. Renée Zellweger
walked past and started wowing Susanna about her dress. You don't get that. I'm sorry. No. You don't get that in West London.
No. Do you? She also congratulated Olivia on her Oscar win. But unfortunately, she was going up to bed. So she can't join us for the show.
She was going to get changed to go to the Vanity Fair party. But look, back home in London...
Well, then Ross can talk to her in just a moment.
Yeah, back home in London, Charlotte Hawkins is there. And I keep looking at the monitor, apparently, because it's a bit confusing. We don't normally have that. The monitor's normally...
It's called narcissism.
The monitor's normally... there. So it's a little bit confusing that I'm seeing myself down there and I've got to look up there. But anyway, I'm going to try and not look at myself. Morning, Charlotte.
Morning. Looks like you're having an amazing time out there. You both look gorgeous, by the way.
Yeah, we're really not missing you. Not missing you at all, I have to say.
Thanks very much.
Not a tiny bit. Nothing. Nothing.
Bring us up to speed with what on earth is happening in the real world.
Yeah, far less exciting, I'm afraid. But let's take a look at what's happening here this morning. The Prime Minister, Theresa May, will hold talks with EU leaders in Egypt today in a bid to persuade them to allow changes to the Brexit deal. It comes after she told MPs they may have to wait until March the 12th for a final vote on the deal. Our political editor Ranveer Singh can join us now with more on this. Morning, Ranveer. So yet another delay, and that clock is ticking, isn't it?
I know, exactly. Well, the Prime Minister has been accused of playing games by only giving MPs a vote on her deal a mere 17 days before we are due to leave. And in Egypt, she took that criticism quite literally by picking up a cue for what looked like the first time and being taught how to play pool by the Italian PM. Now, she's on a charm offensive with EU leaders out there to try and get a time limit on the Irish backstop, or at least an ability to get out of it when the UK wants to, so that we're not stuck inside the customs union forever in order to avoid that hard border in Ireland. But cancelling this week's meaningful vote has caused uproar.
The Prime Minister's continual drift and continual putting back the votes means that no deal is now much more likely. That's why we're going to put forward this week a sensible proposal to make sure there's a safeguard in place to prevent no deal if we can't get a deal through.
Well, and there will be a number of other votes on Wednesday to see if Parliament wants to delay Brexit, something that many feel is now an inevitable next step, actually, if we're going to avoid a no-deal scenario. So it was going to be a really big week, Charlotte. It's not quite what we expected. I think that's just a recurring theme in Brexit, but there are going to be some important things on Wednesday.
Yeah, we've kind of learnt to expect that, haven't we? Ranveer, thanks very much for that update. Campaigners say the government has moved too fast by announcing compulsory sex education for primary school-aged children that will cover lessons on gay and trans relationships. A parliamentary debate's due to be held today, triggered by a petition from parents opposed to the new guidance, and could lead to the proposal being blocked.
Is it any surprise that we're seeing such an increase in children being referred for gender dysphoria, for confusion about their gender? It's because it's being talked about and introduced more, and it doesn't need to be introduced more. We're better not introducing it to young children.
The Duke and Duchess of Sussex have been given an unusual gift while on their official tour of Morocco. The henna tattoo painted on Meghan's left arm was offered as a good luck gesture ahead of the couple's first baby, which is expected this spring. Nick Dixon is in Rabat in Morocco with more on this. Good morning to you, Nick. So they've got this tour of Morocco, but it seems that all talk is about the fact that Meghan may have let slip the sex of the baby they're expecting.
Yeah, I mean, all the talk is about the baby anyway, but yes, this rumour swirling around is that in New York last week at the baby shower, she let slip to her friend, Charlotte, that it's going to be a boy, and apparently was very open about this. Now, I should stress, she certainly has not confirmed this rumour here in Morocco. She hasn't given us any hints whatsoever about the baby, but the tour is going extremely well. Meghan's certainly been getting a lot of the attention, a lot of the focus with the baby being due, getting that henna tattoo that you mentioned, lots of gifts as well, but the pair of them, really, Prince Harry as well, are both making a lot of friends in Morocco.
Keeping it traditional but still exuding glamour, the Duchess of Sussex charmed guests at a reception hosted by the British ambassador to Morocco.
I was nervous, but they're very nice. At the end it all turned out well and it was good.
From the moment they arrived at Casablanca airport for a whirlwind 3-day visit, the royal couple captivated everyone they met. Meghan impressed children with her language skills on a visit to a school in the Atlas Mountains, something she dismissed as high school French. She also received a henna flower tattoo, a Moroccan tradition which is supposed to bring luck to the first child. Though Harry joked he was still surprised by the pregnancy.
Congratulations for your pregnancy. Thank you.
This is about as close as it gets to Meghan and Harry mania in Morocco. The kids have come into school on a Sunday to see the royals in what will very likely be their last official trip before they become parents.
The royal couple are in Morocco until tomorrow. Their aim of strengthening links with the UK seems to be working. Nick Dixon, Good Morning Britain, Morocco.
The actress Kim Marsh has announced she's leaving Coronation Street after 13 years, saying it felt like the right time for her to take a break. The actress, who's played Michelle Connor in the ITV soap since 2006, said she'd be exploring other roles, although has not ruled out a possible return in the future. A quick bit of sports news for you. The Chelsea goalkeeper Kepa Arrizabalaga has denied humiliating his manager by refusing to be subbed off during the Carabao Cup final against Manchester City. The row happened just minutes before the game ended in a dramatic penalty shootout, which his team lost. Pip Thompson has more.
He'd kept a clean sheet all game, but when Maurizio Sarri called for Kepa to be substituted, it looked like the club's dirty laundry was on show. Kepa, the world's most expensive goalkeeper, seemed to point-blank refuse, insisting he was fit to face the impending penalties. The incident added to the rumours that Sarri is fighting to keep control of the dressing room and also keep hold of his job. It was all lined up for Kepa to prove his manager wrong and be a hero with the trophy in his hands. But instead, he let it slip away. So as Pep Guardiola sees another cup in his cabinet, will Sarri see another game as the Chelsea boss? Pip Thompson, Good Morning Britain.
So that's it. You're up to date with all the day's top stories. Now, in the meantime, we'll take you shortly back to Hollywood. But first, here's Laura with a look at today's weather.
Love your home, whatever the weather. With Good Morning Britain National Weather, sponsored by Checkertrade.com.
Checkertrade.com.
Well, it was a gorgeous weekend of weather for many, wasn't it? And actually, amazingly, today our temperatures are higher than those in LA, where the other half of our team are celebrating the Oscars. Now, warmth and heat has been spreading its way up from the Canaries, and the outlook here is for more warm weather on the cards. In fact, we have seen over the weekend Wales and Scotland had their highest February days ever recorded, and today England could well be rivaling for that as well, as temperatures are forecast to be up to 20 degrees. And if we reach that, what a difference it makes to last year when we had the beast from the east. But for today, fog clearing like the last few mornings, and then plenty of fine, dry, sunny weather. England and Wales with clear skies, not just foggy, a cold start this morning as well. But plenty of dry, fine, sunny weather takes us through the day. So potentially delays and cancellations at airports, but that will soon lift and clear. Temperatures today, 18, 19, maybe 20 degrees. That'll make it the warmest February day ever recorded. For the weather where you are in detail, go to itv.com/weather.
Well, welcome back to our live Hollywood Oscars special. It's terribly exciting because we just got told that Snoop Dogg was walking around literally behind us. Yeah. I don't know what that means, whether he'll join us, but I'm very excited that Snoop Dogg is in the he's here.
He's in the building, as they say.
He's in the house.
Lion now?
He's in the house.
He's still Snoop.
Is Snoop?
Snoop.
Snoop Lion or Snoop Dogg?
Just Snoop.
Right, OK. Well, Snoop's in the building. We're at the Beverly Hills Hotel. It's one of the great hotels in Hollywood, obviously. We've got this all-star panel, one of the great panels. Now we're going to Ross, who's on the red carpet, with Adam Lambert, who's Sam McQueen.
I love him.
It was so much fun. I mean, what an honor to open the Oscars. I've lived in LA for 17 years, and I watch the Oscars every year from my couch. And so to be a part of it this year was such an honor. So amazing.
So now, just talk about, so people in Britain waking up, they won't probably have seen the whole opening yet, but that curtain goes up, and there you are with Queen. Just talk me through the emotions going through your head, especially with the movie and everything that's going on.
Roger and Brian are so excited that the movie has been received the way it has, as am I. And to celebrate the film tonight was such an honor. And yeah, the Oscars, I just can't believe it. It's wild.
Now, the whole thing is, I mean, you're a great man who works an audience. I've seen you work the Hollywood Bowl audience.
Oh, thank you.
When you look out tonight and it's all famous faces, are you thinking, I can just pull them, I can get them on their feet?
To be totally honest with you, I made sure I did not make eye contact with too many of them, or else it would have thrown me off my game. Because I would have been starstruck. So I was like, look at the lights, pretend like this is any concert that we've done around the world. And then at the end, I started looking, going, oh my God.
Gaga.
Yeah, Gaga, yeah.
There was never a moment when you were in any doubt you had that crowd from the word go.
I was really excited to be there. I was really excited. I mean, you know, Roger and Brian and I, we've been doing this for a while now, about 6 years, and it feels like family. This is something that's in our bodies now. And so I tried to just go out there and say to myself, this is just another night with my favorite musicians. Yeah, even though I knew in the back of my head, this is wild.
It was just sensational.
Thank you.
Of course, sometimes some people have missed your little cameo in the movie itself.
I did have a little cameo in the movie, yes. I was the trucker tempting Freddie at the rest stop. So in the film and on stage with Queen, to this day, I like to think to myself, for Freddie, that perhaps I'm repping the queer spirit. Yeah, I'm really proud to do so.
Adam, we're so proud of you. So lovely to see you. Thank you, pal.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Adam Lambert, there we are. The man who opened the Oscars this year. And check out that earring. Wow.
Adam Lambert there. I've got to say, I thought Queen were fantastic tonight because it's very difficult. You didn't like it, I know.
I wanted it to feel like more than just seeing them in concert. You have the opportunity to open the Academy Awards.
But I think
make
that's
it
down
feel
to the
special.
Academy, though, because Adam Lambert, his vocals was amazing, his performance great. But they should have added, like, fireworks, dances or something
A choir,
to make
anything,
it special. I agree. It's not Adam Lambert's fault.
We have another big star with Ross. Rita Ora has joined him. Let's go back to the Rita.
What were you wearing when you were at home? Were you in your jammies?
Oh, I was in my jammies, yeah. I don't know how this got turned around. My team is amazing. It takes a village to get this together. But it was amazing. I had an amazing night. You know, when I did the Oscars back in 2015 and I got nominated, I was honestly terrified. So every year I watch the awards understanding it really is one of the scariest stages in the world.
What do you think about Lady Gaga?
Oh, amazing, phenomenal, huge fan, well-deserved, beautiful performance. Everyone was incredible.
And
Olivia's speech was the highlight of my whole night. I mean, it was the best speech of the night. It's the realest, most authentic thing I've heard. I mean, she's an angel. It was amazing.
And Queen opening the show?
Yes, I know this is bad, but I actually missed it. I was actually in the bathroom, and I was like, has the awards started yet? And my dad's like, yeah. And I'm like, damn it.
Well, the good news
I missed it. Sorry.
Adam Lambert's beside you. Could get him to do the opening for you again. Sorry.
No, it was amazing. I had a good night. I'm going to actually go in there and see some amazing friends now, so I'm looking forward to it. Thanks, Si.
Thank you,
so
Rita.
much. Thank you.
The wonderful Rita Ora.
Rita Ora there. Ross on fire so far. 2 out of 2 so far. Before we go any further, Vinny, very quickly, this ridiculous incident yesterday in the League Cup final where you had...
I thought you was going to talk about our golf match. Sorry, when we beat you 4-3.
So talk about the Chelsea goalkeeper.
The Carabao
Cup, right? The League Cup final. So Kepa, the Chelsea goalkeeper, was about to be substituted, right, with 3 minutes to go before the penalties, and simply refused to leave the pitch. What did you make of it?
I thought fair play to him, but I think there was a hidden agenda because the other goalkeeper had saved some penalties further back. And listen, it's bizarre. And I think in my situation... No, it's not allowed. But in my day, he would have come over. Now the manager's saying it was a misunderstanding. I think he's retreating now. But in my day, you'd have come over and said to the manager, like, you know, I'm fine. You know, I've
got to say, I thought it was disgraceful behaviour by the goalkeeper.
Yeah.
Right.
Sarri was
if you're
obviously
being subbed, if you're being subbed, Zola ran over a Chelsea legend, screaming at him to get off. Right. Yeah. He simply refused to go. I also thought Sarri giving up and surrendering to it.
Well, he stormed off and then he came back and he said it's misunderstanding. But the whole thing is just totally embarrassing. And
well, it looks like insubordination. And it looks like Sarri's completely lost his authority over his players.
Well, he might have lost a lot of power with the players and everything, you know. And this might sometimes when that creeps in, then a player or 2 or 3 players will get stronger, and that will cause even more trouble. You know
get the feeling.
But he's £71 million signing. They're not going to sack him.
But that doesn't give you the right. That doesn't give you the right. I mean, Alex Ferguson. Can you imagine if a player refused to come off? Alex
Beckham would have said, "I'm not coming off."
He'd have killed him. Let's take a short break. We're going to go to the local news, travel, and weather where you are. Then we'll be back with more from our live Oscar special here in Los Angeles. So stay with us. Well, good morning, Britain. Welcome back to our Oscar special live here from the Beverly Hills Hotel in Hollywood. The Oscars have just finished. Fantastic night for Britain. Olivia Colman has walked away with Best Actress, beating Glenn Close, who was the hot favourite. So a great, great win for Britain. We, though, have to go back to Britain now, unfortunately.
And find out what on earth's happening with Brexit.
Because one thing never ends. One thing always sours every party. One thing is always there, like a dark cloud.
Who's in our seats?
Yeah.
That's our chairs.
What are you two clowns doing?
There's been a coup. We may be underdressed, but, you know...
Well, there we have Kevin Maguire and George Pascoe Watson. Welcome to both of you.
And just a little message to our director. If you could just turn up the volume on Kevin and George, then it would be fantastic. It would be nice to hear what they have to say.
It would be nice to hear them, yeah.
And if you can turn Piers down, says Vinny, that would also be good. Right, well, nice to see you both, and thank you for keeping our seats warm. What's happening with this meaningful vote? which was supposed to take place this week, Kevin, and now seems to have been kicked down the road yet again.
No, absolutely. Can kicking is Theresa May's great skill now. She's postponed it until the 12th of March, 17 days before Brexit, because she fears she would lose if she held it now. But the papers are full of talk about her trying to seek a two-month delay on Brexit from the 29th of March anyway. She won't be able to hit the deadline. And coming out of the Middle East Europe summit in Sharm el-Sheikh in Egypt is a proposal from the European Union to actually postpone Brexit completely until 2021. Do away with that transition period, which means we would have been half in, half out up until the end of 2020, and go all the way to 2021, which would mean we'd have European Parliament elections in May, which will be hugely controversial.
George, let me ask you this. Matthew Paris, who was, of course, a former Conservative Member of Parliament, now a very respected journalist, and he wrote a column in The Times on Saturday. I have never read a more savage takedown of a serving Prime Minister than the one I read from Matthew Paris. And I just got some of the lines here. Theresa May, they tell me, he says, is the Death Star of modern British politics. He said she's the theory of antimatter made flesh. She's a political black hole because nothing, not even light, can escape. Ideas, beliefs, suggestions, objections, inquiries, proposals, projects, loyalties, affections, trust, whole careers, real men and women are sucked into the awful void that is Downing Street and nothing ever comes back out, etc., etc. I mean, it was unbelievable to read. What does this say about the state of British politics right now when someone like Matthew Paris basically says we have the worst Prime Minister we've ever had, and most people think Jeremy Corbyn might now be the worst leader of the opposition we've ever had? Where are we?
It's a terrible state of affairs, isn't it? And I think Matthew really captures the state of affairs really brutally, but also very well. And the other point is no other political figure is prepared to come forward, either on the Labour side or the Conservative side, because they know that right now is not the time to take things forward. I think there's also a lack of real sort of leadership in anybody who is around the fringes who could take over for Theresa May or Jeremy Corbyn on the Labour side. It is a desperate state of affairs. That said, I would say that Theresa May has one thing in her favour, which is an ability just to carry on regardless. All the things that Matthew say could be argued against, but a lot of them are fair. But the truth is, it is a desperate position. Nobody really wants to step up and take over this impossible challenge of trying to find Britain a way through what's happening right now with Brexit. And we end up with the politicians that we deserve, I'm afraid.
Kevin, when Theresa May delayed the meaningful vote in a meaningful way last time, she then lost the meaningful vote in a kind of spectacular fashion. What does she think she's going to gain from delaying it this time, apart from being able to get something out of the EU which they repeatedly say they are not about to offer?
I think it's avoiding that fatal final defeat as she's playing for time. It's a game of Brexit blackmail, runs down the clock, hopes that MPs who are against her plan, think it's a bad plan, thinks it makes Britain poorer and weaker, will fold and panic and back it because they think crashing out without any deal at all is worse. That's what she's playing. She knows if she held it this Wednesday, she would lose again. The last time she had that meaningful vote, you're quite right, it's supposed to be before December, then she postponed it, then she lost by a record 230 vote defeat in the House of Commons. It's just playing for time, keeping it going. That's all she has. And Matthew Paris, in many ways, is right about Theresa May. She's the worst Prime Minister since the last one, David Cameron. I think he will go down in history as even worse because he lost his referendum, which he called for very short-term tactical reasons. But she's clueless, other than running down the clock. And it's a terrible state of affairs.
I think, in fairness, she did think by this stage she would have got some movement from the Europeans. She would have got some movement from the Tory right wing. The Tory right wing have privately been telling her they will move if she gets some movement from Brussels. Last week, 10 days ago, there was another vote. The European right went a bit crazy, and she's had to postpone everything. The real danger now for Brexiteers is they will not get Brexit.
Isn't here the problem? Right, chaps, here's the problem, it seems to me, with all this, is that we are where we are. The clock is ticking down. The EU is showing absolutely zero sign of wanting to move. And frankly, if you're the EU, why would you? What you're watching is a British political system collapsing. You're seeing both parties basically collapsing, both leaders having their authority eroded by the second. You're seeing all sorts of splinter groups emerging on both sides. Where is the impetus or the reason for the EU to give us an inch?
That's a very easy one. That's a very easy question to answer. There is an absolute fear in Europe of a no-deal Brexit because it hits them as much as it hits us. You will not hear that or see that being said right now, but behind the scenes, that's the motivator. And that is exactly why the Tory right do not want to let her take no deal off the table.
But they know they've got a stronger bargaining hand. It may upset Brexiteers, people who voted for it, to hear that, but there are 450 million of them, 60-odd million of us. 27 of them, one of us. They've shown greater unity, 27 different countries speaking different languages, many different currencies, and not all in the euro, than she's managed to achieve in her cabinet, her government, her party, and in the country. It's an incredible position to be in, but you can now see, though, the shape of where the EU might move, and that is an offer to postpone Brexit until 2021. Would she be strong enough to seize that? I'm not sure.
Well, not only that, with the right wing of the Conservative Party.
That's an absolutely extraordinary... George, sorry to interrupt, but one of the effects of this is, of course, continuing uncertainty for business and the effect that that will have on economic confidence. We're not even talking about a trade deal at the moment. This is all about the divorce. And this is how hard it is for this Prime Minister to negotiate simply a withdrawal deal. I mean, who knows how hard it's going to be for her to negotiate a trade deal? We don't even know what that's going to look like. And meanwhile, we've got companies who are saying they're going to have to leave the UK. You know, we've got people moving their assets to EU countries, and we must have other businesses scratching their head about whether to invest or not.
Well, as you know, I advise a lot of businesses, and the truth is most businesses now have come to a position where they have taken all the steps they need to take to prepare for a no-deal Brexit, the worst-case scenario. So the concern about this lack of knowledge over the next few weeks is not as great as you might think it might be. Much greater is the lack of money that has been invested over the last 2 years as businesses have just held back and invested their money in other countries. That's probably about £40 billion we've lost in this economy. So that's a problem, but that's gone. I think what's interesting is whether or not, and a lot of Conservatives talk to me about this, whether or not they would want the Prime Minister, should we actually leave in the coming months, whether she would be the right person to hold those trade negotiations, or would it be time for her to step aside and let a new Conservative Party leader come in and do those negotiations? And that's a really interesting question, which is on the minds of most Conservative MPs.
Both the CBI and the Institute of Directors, big voices of business, have criticised the delay in the meaningful vote because when it takes place, it'll be 17 days to what could be going off a cliff. We've seen Panasonic Sony move in their headquarters. You've seen P&O Ferries. The Spirit of Britain now is going to be registered in Cyprus.
But these are contingency measures. These are the planning things that businesses do.
We've seen Nissan put on hold investment. Honda's a different question. It must be said, the closure of that plant. Look, this uncertainty is terrible for business. Business likes to plan ahead. They need certainty if you're going to invest. And Theresa May is giving them none.
What we are seeing is complete and utter chaos, and that is very disconcerting, I think, not just for Britain, very disconcerting probably for the European Union, who, as George says, are looking at us heading potentially to no deal. That will have huge ramifications, of course, across the entire continent. So it is very chaotic and potentially quite dangerous, I would think, the way things are going. I can't believe that I've been away for 2 weeks, and if you look at the state of the Conservative Party and the Labour Party, when I left to now, it is extraordinary.
Well, there's a new party in town, Piers, since you left.
Honestly, we leave the country for 2
right,
weeks.
There's literally a new party. I know. Chaps, we've got to leave it there. Thank you both very much indeed. Greatly appreciate it. I don't like the look of you in those seats, I've got to say. It really is slightly uneasy for me.
Looks nice.
No, it doesn't.
There's been a coup.
It doesn't suit you. You look better on the
There's a
side.
coup.
You can get out now,
You look better,
thanks.
yeah. You remind me of the new Independent Party. You sort of, while my back's been turned, you've created yourselves taking over.
We're stripping you of passports and nationality to
George.
stop you going back.
Thanks very much indeed.
Good to
Well,
see you.
Thank you.
It's the night of Hollywood's biggest competition. And it's your chance to take part in our competition time. Now, the prize is £250,000, and Andy has the details.
Good morning. Here's another chance for you to win a whopping £250,000. And just imagine the places that could take you. I want to go on that one. To the Seychelles. We've taken a trip to Treasure Island with our February fortune.
Oh, knew my name.
And our next lucky winner really could be you. 40% of you said if you won a big cash prize, you'd take a trip of a lifetime. And who would blame you? From palm trees to sun loungers, pool views to cocktails, this could be your reality. For another chance to win, text cash to 82248. Text costs £2 plus one standard network rate message. Or enter online at itv.com/win. Entries cost £2. You can call 09068 782248. Calls cost £2 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and phone number to CD06 PO Box 7558 Derby DE1 08U. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on Friday the 1st of March. Fruity and refreshing. And rich, like you could be.
You know, it's the first time where I've watched an Andy Peters competition.
And you haven't been jealous?
Well, I haven't been jealous, because we're actually in a better place than he is. We're here in the Beverly Hills Hotel in Hollywood. The Oscars just finished. Fantastic night for the Brits. Of course, Olivia Colman winning Best Actress. A lot of shocks tonight. A lot of things going the way that people didn't expect. We've got an all-star panel of Mel B, Vinnie Jones and Perez Hilton. They are champing at the bit to get stuck into the Oscars
We've
with all
got
the
Jane
gossip and
Seymour
intrigue.
behind the scenes. We've got Tatum O'Neill. We've got Elliot Gould.
Yep.
So plenty
Ross
more
is
to
on the
come.
red carpet, pulling stars left, right and centre. Going to be a lot of fun. We've got a lot of fun all through the morning. And we've got a cabinet minister to chew up as well in about half an hour. So stay with us. Lots more sort of come. Watching Good Morning Britain on ITV, live from Hollywood.
It's the Oscars, baby. Fantastic Oscars night, and we have two fantastic guests joining us here right now. We have legendary actor Elliot Gould.
Well, thanks for having me.
Good evening. How do you like being called a legend?
You're not complaining. And alongside you, Perez Hilton.
Legendary.
Yeah. You're inside you, Perez Hilton.
Legendary.
Yeah. You're in a few Oscars ceremonies in your time.
Yes.
What did you make of this one? No main host, lots of separate celebrity hosts. Just before you answer that, we have one of our Brits who unfortunately lost out this year. Ross, who have you got on the red carpet?
Last 15 minutes.
Really?
The Oscars nomination is one thing. This was the win.
Richard E. Grant.
When Miss Price
It is
came
great.
on the stage, they cut to you,
Did they?
and it was just the most wonderful look on your face.
Yeah, good. Well, I don't know what that was, but yeah, I am made up.
So what was it? How did the conversation go?
It went really well, and she remembered meeting me from before, and I got to hold her hand, and just brilliant. You've met her, you know, but if you're a real fan of somebody...
Oh, absolutely.
Out of body experience.
Yeah. And how, I mean, it's been the most wonderful journey. I feel like we've kind of gone along in the journey with you and Olivia as well, and the whole of Britain. And also, what is also so lovely is you have absolutely captured America. And I'm not just saying that.
Oh, well.
You really have. I mean, they have
tell me that.
No, they've taken you to their heart.
Well, they've been unbelievably hospitable to a foreigner, so I'm very grateful to them.
Yeah.
They've been really celebratory.
What was the experience tonight as you walked along that red carpet?
Completely surreal, because you know, I watched you doing this for years. I've seen all these other people. That person's wearing that purse, that's dressed. Oh my God, look what that person's done to their face. You know, and when you're actually along the walk, and I look at all these people and meet people that know my name, that I've worshipped for years and years and years, that's bizarre. So I've loved it.
And then when you come to the Vanity Fair party as well, it's the icing in the cake now, isn't it?
Oh, it is? Well, I've yet to find out. You let me go.
Get in. Lovely to see you, Olivia. Lovely to see you too. Thank you so much. Take care. Lovely to see you. Well done. The wonderful Richard E. Grant. just a superb man.
I absolutely
He may
love
not have
Richard
won the
Grant.
Oscar, but he's always a winner, isn't
And he ref there, of course, his great moment with Barbara Streisand. You, of course, were married to Barbara Streisand.
Yes, I'm the father of her child.
Yeah, 8 years you were married to her. And Richard E. Grant had this extraordinary thing where he wrote to her when he was young. And she tweeted him last week, and it was almost like the greatest thing that ever happened to him.
That's nice.
Were you at the Oscars when Barbara won for Funny Girl?
I escorted her.
So what is it like when you're there and someone actually wins? I mean, what is it like for them?
Oh, well, she was great. I think Barbara's always been prepared to win. You know, I think that's what her life is about. And she had that great line when she came up with the Oscar and said, "Hello, gorgeous."
Yeah.
You know, she's great. Very, very smart.
And does it change somebody when they've won an Oscar?
No, I don't think so. No, I've never won, but I don't think so.
Is it the pinnacle for every actor, really? Ultimately, is it the one thing, if you don't win one, you always wish you had, and if you won it, it feels like it's the great seal of your career?
My grandson is a teenager, and I said to Henry, that's his name, is there anything you're afraid of? And Henry said, I'm afraid to fail. And I said to Henry, so long as you're honest with yourself, you'll never fail. So therefore, you know, I mean, it's interesting. I enjoyed the show tonight. I mean, I'm there to see the context of it, and it was so many different, it was so diverse.
What did you make of the lack of host? Only the second time it's ever been without a host.
I didn't miss anyone. I thought the show was okay. It seemed to be an experiment. It probably cost less. There were no big production numbers. But I thought the show worked, and I think there's a lot that people will criticize about it, but I don't watch it to criticize.
What did you think of Lady Gaga, of course, performing from Star is Born? Because Barbara, of course, was in the last remake of Star is Born.
Each of them won an Academy Award for music that they composed. I think Gaga is great.
Yeah.
How would you compare her to Barbara, out of interest, as a performer? Serious question.
No, it's an honest. I'm not interested in serious. I don't think anybody compares to Barbara, and I think that Lady Gaga is great.
Yeah. The big shock of the night, in many ways, was the best movie, which didn't go, as everybody thought, to Roma.
Yeah, the green, what is it? The green.
How are you doing?
How are you?
Mark Ronson, very nice.
Mark Ronson has joined us.
Hey, how are you doing?
How are you, mate? Great to see you.
Hey.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. I was actually just...
We have an Oscar winner with us.
Yeah.
Well, I was just coming to pick up my girlfriend.
We have an Oscar winner with us.
Somebody was like, they're filming Good Morning. Yeah, I'm on a cheap day. I'll go talk to them.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
We were literally just talking about Lady Gaga's song.
Oh, right.
For you, I mean, you've achieved a lot of things in your career, but that in your hand.
This is rarefied. This is not something... The Grammys are really kind of the epitome for music, and this seems almost like something from another universe, so it's nothing I would have been upset if I never came across, but to have it is really special.
Can I touch it?
Yeah, of course.
Oh,
this is actually...
It's like sacrilege.
This is heavy.
Yeah, it's heavier than the...
These are much heavier than you think, yeah?
I have one on my dashboard that says BFF.
This is amazing. Absolutely amazing.
What does it say at the base?
It just says, like, for Shallow, for...
Yeah, it's a Shallow, with Best Original Song from Star
Yeah, I co-wrote it.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
That was great.
Thank you very much.
What did you make of the evening today?
Can I just tell you that Bob and Carol and Ted and Alice is one of my favorite movies?
Oh,
really?
I just realized, like, yeah, honestly, like, you're a legend.
Oh,
Can
please.
I just want to interrupt you because I'm just wondering whether we can actually hear you. Because if we can't, what I'm going to do is come over here and share my microphone with you.
Okay, great.
Okay, so I'm going to pop that there.
Yeah.
And we'll start all over again by saying congratulations.
Thank you. So should I not hold this? Do I look ridiculous?
I think maybe that's
I don't think that's working anymore.
You
can take your Oscar back.
You can take your Oscar back.
For
And I'll
somebody
hold
who,
the
like,
microphone.
considering my day job is putting microphones in front of people, I do feel a bit stupid, but all right, cool.
It's also our job as well.
Yeah.
Absolutely fantastic. And you know, Lady Gaga did this kind of speech, and then just right at the end of that speech, you just turned to her and said...
I think so. I mean, she's very modest. She's very generous with her things. She's not going to give a shout-out to herself. And we were all like, we're going to let her speak, and then at the end she just kind of looked at us kind of blank and like, all right, one of us better talk, because it's saying please wrap up, and it was nice to give her, because I don't think actually anyone's ever written the song, performed the song, and been nominated for actor or actress. So she really is like, it's, you know, it is kind of a special thing.
What did you make of Bradley Cooper singing tonight? Because he was very nervous about singing, as you would be if you're not a natural singer like him.
I think he's, you know, I worked with him early on in the film. I think that I've heard him sing. He can really sing, but the stakes are really high. You know, he's a director, he's an actor. If he has a bad night, like it's not just like he's going to perform next week and it's going to be fine. So I understand why the stakes were high, and he's a perfectionist, and he killed it, and it was such a beautiful performance, and the direction of it was great, and it was really...
That moment.
When they sort
you
of
say you won loads of Grammys, Lee, but that moment when you realise your song is the best song at the Oscars.
Yeah.
And everyone goes nuts. What does it feel like?
It does feel great. I mean, it is, and it's like you can't put too much stock in it. But that song is a special song. It does mean something to me. I see that it means something to other people, and that's what's nice to be there for.
Well, look, we've grabbed you and we've dragged you in here. We've had all sorts of technical malfunctions, which seems appropriate for being at the Oscar celebrations.
Yeah, of course.
But it is heavy, isn't it?
So heavy.
We love the fact you've just popped in. Thank you very much. Great to see you.
Yeah,
and that you've met one of your heroes.
Yeah, absolutely. Seriously.
Great to see
thank you. All right, see you later. Good night.
They're making a musical. They're making a musical out of Bob and Caroline.
I know. Well, I know when Lena Dunham bought the script, and I remember. But yeah, no, I love it. It's one of my favorites ever. Thanks so much stuff that you've done.
Well, we like to bring people to their heroes. Great to see him. An actual Oscar winner just ambling into our set, which is brilliant. We'll get to the weather now with Laura. Let's have a calm down, shall we?
Love your home, whatever the weather. With Good Morning Britain National Weather, sponsored by Checkertrade.com.
Checkertrade.com.
Wow, an actual Oscar and an Oscar winner live on Good Morning Britain. I can tell you what else is award-winning. The weather, not in LA, but here in the UK. It is warmer here at the moment than it is in LA. Temperatures 19, maybe 20 degrees today as we continue to draw warm air up from the south. The big question, how long will it last? It looks like later on Thursday into Friday, it could come crashing to an end. Now, these are our current records for February. At the weekend, Wales and Scotland both broke their temperature records, and it is likely 19.7 still stands for England, but we could well break that one today. The forecast is for 20 degrees somewhere in England, and that would make it the warmest February day ever recorded. But cast your mind back a year, the beast from the east, it was significantly colder back then in the grips of midwinter. Right now, it feels like spring. But one thing that is common for the last few days, with clear skies overnight, widespread fog is an issue. We have got warnings from the Met Office for northeastern and southwestern areas, slow going on the roads, and like this weekend with the poor visibility, there could well be cancellations or delays at some airports, so check before you travel. But after clear, cold conditions overnight, -3, -4 for some parts of central England, it will quickly warm up. Gorgeous sunshine takes us through the days. Top temperatures could be 20 degrees. For the weather where you are in detail, go to itv.com/weather.